Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how I take cuttings from petunias. I love petunias, they are so pretty when they are blooming and I just love them and they are super easy to take cuttings from. It's a cheap way to get even more plants, not having to buy any, and don't have to start up anymore with seeds. That's just like a long waiting time. So this one I started up by seeds, but now I want even more of them, so I'm taking cuttings. Easy, cheap way to get even more plants. So we just do this already. What I do, I cut up like a top piece from this plant just above some leaves so they can get new stems coming out of there. And yeah, it's like easy, so easy. And that gives me a more bushier plant at the same time the mother plant gets bushier, and I love that. I love more compact plants. I'm sure you already know that, but I'm gonna say that again because I'm just nagging sometimes. So I'm cutting this one off as well because I want even more cuttings. I'm gonna start with 2 just so I can show you how I do this. And you can see they're so pretty. I'm gonna change some nutrients for them soon because they're a bit grumpy. I think the weather is like wearing them down some as well because they've been outdoors and it's a cold springtime still. Hopefully they get better soon. But this one is a cutting I took like a week ago and it's doing great actually. Not being grumpy at all, and I bet it has some roots under there. I haven't seen, usually I don't transplant them until I see some roots coming out in the bottom, but this time I'm gonna do it a bit earlier just to show you guys. And I'm so annoyed with this pot because it's so empty on this side and I just want to fill it out basically, because now everything is just hanging on one side and I want the whole hanging pot to be more filled up. So we're gonna do that later on in this video. First of all, we're gonna start up with these 2 cuttings that I just took, and I'm just gonna take 2 first of all. And here I have 2 empty pots, just small like starter up pots, doesn't have to be big at all, just some starter pots. And I'm gonna fill those 2 up with some soil. I'm not using any special soil or anything. It's not a lot of nutrients in there. Just a like regular planting soil, or like just a soil you have when you start up seeds. Whatever you can get your hands on basically. It doesn't have to be fancy for this one. We just want those cuttings to establish some roots in there before you can transplant them to their final home basically. So just fill those up. Come on, do this a bit faster. That one is done anyways. And now I'm gonna take this cutting and I'm gonna take away those leaves there so I get more of the stem where they can get new roots. And I don't have to have as much energy with all those like leaves coming out of there, but at the same time I want to keep some because I don't want it to get too far behind, and they usually can take this. So that's about it. And now I'm gonna do the same with the other one, but first of all I'm just gonna water this one through just so that all of the soil gets perfectly moist. Just water through. Just water. So it will get easier for the plants to get some new roots there and fully established to their new home. And it's so cute when they're standing there in that small pot as well. As you can see, some water is dripping through there. So that one is done, and we're gonna do the same with the other one. Take away those leaves so we have more of the stem where it can get more roots there. And and then just stick it down in that pot with soil. And water. Water, 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 water. And then we're done. That's it. And it's just like waiting for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Sometimes it develops roots even faster and fully established to the new home, but I usually wait at least a week until I transplant them, so I can see that they are not getting totally grumpy or something. But now it's just waiting. But I definitely need to take more cuttings, so we're gonna find some more pots and then just do it again. I'm not gonna sit around here just like nagging at you. I mean, it's so easy and it's so cheap to do this. Don't have to pay for more plants, just take cuttings and you have a lot more plants. I think it's great. I love taking cuttings for a lot of plants, different plants. I take it from geraniums every year. I take way too many of them, but still. And petunias is the same. If you start up some from seeds and then you want even more of them and it's too late to start them up from seeds, then just take cuttings. You get a bushier plant and at the same time a lot of more petunias to fill up a lot more space with them. That's just awesome. I love taking cuttings. I'm not gonna say it anytime more. I'm gonna try anyways. But let's do this one more time and I'm just gonna stop talking. Okay, now we're getting the end of this and I'm gonna show you like in this pot what I do when I'm just wanting to save space with small cuttings. Then I basically put down 2 in the same pot. I try to just stick them down in one side basically, so they get one side each, so it's easier to separate them later on when they get roots, so they don't get as tangled up with each other. And it saves a lot of space. And sometimes if I just want to have them just super close together, I just leave them and transplant them as usual. But it's a really good way when it's just smaller cuts. Easy. And just like with all the other ones, water them through so they easier get roots, so they don't dry out instantly. That's kind of important. But isn't it funny to take cuttings? It's so much fun, and to get even more plants super cheap at the same time. Wow! That is great. Just awesome. And those twin ones, I'm really hoping for you now you grow up, get super big and bloom all summer long, please. Because I really need more flowers and especially petunias in my life right now. I can't wait to see them bloom. They are so lovely, and some of these are actually from my own seeds that I collected last year. So it will be super exciting to see what colors they're gonna get. Never know. And now I'm filling up this pot because it's so annoying to see that empty space. I wanted to fill up all of that pot with just petunias. And because if it's a small pot, I need to give it more nutrients along the season to keep the plants happy. But that's okay. It's not that much work, so it's fully fine. And as I said before, I would have waited a bit longer to see some more roots in there. But I just didn't have enough time. I just wasn't patient enough this time. So I started them up earlier. But I know they have fully established to that pot and have some roots hidden under there that I can't see, because or else they would be super grumpy, and they are not, so that's okay. I'm gonna take this one as well, I think, and then I'm gonna find a new place for those new cuttings later on. The plant, like that hanging pot, looks much better now, at least in my opinion. It was no fun to seeing all that empty space there. Of course I need to fill it up super quick. But that's done. Now we're done. We transplanted those cuttings I took like a week ago or so, and we took new cuttings, so I have even more plants later on. Now it's just waiting for these little babies to grow up, get more roots, and I'm gonna give them a new space for the summer. Keeping my fingers crossed for better weather and everything in between. But take really good care of yourself, guys, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Please subscribe if you do. It means a lot to me to continue doing this. And most of all, take really good care of yourself, and I wish you the best day ever. Bye everyone.